Man. We're gonna just talk.
Hello, viewers. Thank you for joining us for another segment from Camera On with Officer Side. Again, my name is Emmanuel. Excited to be here, and we have a discussion panel tonight. I wanted to say if you guys want to keep getting notifications, and you hit the like button and subscribe so you can get notification every time we drop a segment. Again, I'm gonna let my panelists introduce themselves.
All right, I'm Otis Green III, Arthurs Inside, Riverside County.
George K.L. Smith, Director of Program and Resources, Alameda County.
My name is Brian Webb. I'm a painting contractor out of Riverside County.
Yes, nice.
Yes,
Hey, thank you for joining us, Brian. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Brian?
Go ahead.
Am I on?
Yeah, you on? How you feeling, man? How you doing? It's good to see you, brother.
Oh, likewise. Good to see all three of you. Good. Just working. I've been on a volunteer program for my family for about the last year, rejuvenating and renovating my grandmother's house that was, falling, apart at the seams for a long period of time. And, when I was away in incarceration, I wasn't here to like really help out or pitch in much and everything. And then the rest of my family lives kind of like, vicariously like selfish lives and stuff. So they weren't really kind of pitching in. And, grandma did everything for everybody else and nobody really done anything for grandma. So I kind of stepped in and took the reins and just kind of wanted, polish a rock in a sense, give back. And that was part of my parole planning. That was part of my strategy upon coming back into society. I always told myself if I went left, I was going to go right. I'm been going right now for a hot minute. It feels good to be able to do it, and contribute and just, like see every day, the work progressing, but then also taking shape and putting a smile on somebody's face.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Who would ever thought, right, of a dangerous criminal returning to the community to help out and give back, man? You know what I mean? They got this messed up picture behind the philosophy of, just lock them up and throw away the key, right? Thinking people should be defined by their actions or that act that they committed that caused them to have to be punished for a little while, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing, man. More and more stories we hear like this of people getting out and in some form or fashion, man, not just trying to live a selfish life and get caught up with lost time or just go places and do things and seek, all this type of superficial entertainment, right, and enjoyment. But to actually put that all to the side and be like, you know what, man, I got a family. You know what I mean? And then when you go beyond the family, you got a community too, right? And
Yes,
that's
sir.
why I can't wait till we really get up and running in Riverside County as far as Arthurs Inside, man, because you're one of the few individuals I already have in mind to bring on board to really spread from what we're just doing with our families to really make an impact in the community. So I commend you for the work you do, man, and I appreciate the time we were able to spend together last week just to sit and talk, as men. You know what I mean?
Yes,
That's
sir. That was
a good
awesome.
thing, man, to be supportive with someone, even if it's just for through that one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just being, not being a nuisance, man, not creating no victims. So that's some
Yeah.
good stuff, man. But tell us more about the skill set that you have and the work that you do.
Well,
Before you get started, hey Brian, before you get started, I'd like to ask you, how long you been out now?
Going on 4 years.
4 years? Oh, okay, man, that's hey time. Hey,
Yeah.
that's nice, man. That's a long time now.
Yeah. I know. It went fast too. I was like, wow, this is crazy because before you know it, it was like I believe I got paroled out in 2020, and
Okay.
and then it just now we're in 24, second month of 24. It's like wow, it's crazy.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Now go ahead. You can answer the question Otis asked you. I just wanted to know. I was just thinking how long you've been out, but thank you for answering that question for me.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, I grew up in a family of tradesmen. Since I was a little boy, my grandfather Al was a general contractor. All four of his boys, David, Lou, Craig, and my father Brian, were basically contractors as well. He raised them up in the trade. The primary dad and two uncles that took over the tradesmanship was Craig, Lou, and my father. David kind of fell into crime, and basically, you know, he had them from an early age, from 10 years old rather, up until, you know, their ages of now, that they've been brought up into the, you know, the contracting scene, where it goes from roofing to cement to plumbing, framing, you know, so forth. As far as the painting, drywall construction, you know, I've kind of took the reins on that because none of them really had a passion for it, and they never really wanted to do it. So my dad would be loading me up in a work truck at about 8, you know, years old rather, but I would be on construction sites from the earliest age of like 3 years old. You know, he put me out in the dirt pit, send me out there with a couple of trucks, and they'd be framing, you know, listening to music, drinking beer, you know, and you know, working 10 hours straight, and I'd be, you know, floating around the job site and so forth. So over the course of the time of my lifespan, I pretty much was groomed into, like, you know, being in the construction trade. There's nothing I really, you know, did otherwise outside of like some warehouse stuff every now and again when I, you know, was a knucklehead and lost my driver's license and I couldn't commute. But I've been doing this stuff pretty much, you know, professionally now in my particular trade of custom painting, you know, renovations and drywall finishes. I'd say now I probably got rather about 29 years plus experience. I've done anything from commercial jobs to, you know, custom home renovations. I've worked on Vince Neil, Motley Crue's home back in, you know, 2004. I did Danny Bonaducci's house in Griffith Park of Los Angeles back in 2005 when my first son was born. So I got like a lot of hands-on skill with it, and the knowledge that I can, you know, provide to like other individuals is just like, you know, it's endless. I think, you know, I think I can, you know, really offer, you know, the next person or even the next youth a good opportunity and learning something to elevate their self-esteem and elevate their self-worth, you know, especially when they don't have anything to turn to but the streets.
Mm, that's a very good point, man. And what I like about that is, though, you know, you do have people in the community, teachers, you know, parents, stuff like that, that do spend time, you know, dedication to teaching the kid how to do right, how to do right, how to do right, right? But we know everybody's always going to get to that frame of mind where they have to start making decisions. Am I going to keep doing right, or am I going to let my curiosity get the best of me? And the fact that you've been doing this for so long, you have so much experience, but also have that criminal aspect that fell into your life for a little while. Not only can you teach someone how to take pride in doing some work, right, with their hands, with their mind, you can also add that element to keep them on the right track. You know what I mean? So it's
Yep.
like it's a whole total package, especially with working with us, right? Our focus being on, okay, hey man, do the right thing, do the right thing, change the way you think, you know, manage your feelings, behave in a different way, and that'll keep you from going where we've all been, right? But at the
Yes.
same time, you have a viable a work skill, right? A talent that you can share with others, man. And that's something that's part of like our making amends, don't you think? You know, giving
Yes,
back,
sir.
making amends.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I told my relative not too long ago, I pulled out my parole packet, you know, I just kind of glanced it over, and, you know, with the years gone by, I just kind of want to see, you know, on my, you know, my short-term, midterm, and my long-term goals, exactly like, you know, not looking at it for a long time, you know, exactly where I stood with it, you know. And ironically enough, like between my short-term and my midterm goals, I'm like pretty on point with some stuff that I wrote, you know, in incarceration that, you know, I didn't even, you know, have available to me in the free world. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of ironic. Like in the first, you know, 2 years, I'm not going to write. I'm going to go through the motions, get my license back. Then I'm going to get to work in, and then I'm going to try to build like a saving and all these different things that, you know, I had written down on paper for the board to, you know, review and look over as far as, you know, my planner was concerned. I'm pretty up to par and pretty like even kill with what I wrote. It's like
Right.
weird. It's like predicting the future, you know? So one of the main things is that when you take away from somebody, when you take somebody's life, you know, you are basically like you're extinguishing something that God created for somebody to share along with yourself, right? And they can no longer, you know, enjoy that life. And then everybody attached to them, what that, you know, creates is a lot of pain, anguish, unnecessary, you know, guilt, despair. I mean, it takes a big chunk of their life away, you know, in a whole. So we can never correct that wrong. We're never going to right that wrong. You know, the only time that we're ever, you know, going to, you know, justifiably be judged upon that wrong is when we're faced with God himself, you know, not man. So while we're here, I feel like I have a due diligent duty to give back on a continual basis, because though I can't right the wrong, you know, I can change and correct my behavior that's going to allow me not to live a justifiably selfish life, you know, and I can't cry the rose like, oh man, you know, poor me. No, it ain't poor me. It's like, thank God for me being here. So what am I going to use my time for to help the next person?
Exactly.
You know?
And it's a lot of individuals that need help, right? And so I'm gonna ask George before I ask you this, for his input, because he deals a lot with juveniles, and Emmanuel, he's out there where our home base is, San Luis Obispo County. When me and Brian were talking the other day, this idea came up, and it's not in concrete because, you know, we're all at the infant stage of trying to spread throughout Riverside County. But one of the things I mentioned to Brian is that you have this population of youth that, say, for instance, you have the father that's in prison, right? And the brother that's already into delinquent behavior, right? Or maybe even in juvenile hall. And so now you have this one individual, this young male, that's in a single parent home by itself, right? It's like, what's the chances of him succeeding on his own, right? And that's a population of individuals who haven't even done anything wrong, but they have so many risk factors against them. Those are people that we can also reach out to collectively, right? Create like a construction crew versus a street gang, right? And really help them to learn something and be part of something that's better and that's bigger than themselves, and also give back to the community. But what do you guys think of that idea of possibly addressing that particular population?
I like it. It sounds great. Give them a skill set, you know. Like you said, creating a construction crew as opposed to a gang. That's a good example. For me, I'm in the HVAC industry, and me and George was talking before we came on. I was saying is everybody wants air, everybody wants heat in their home. So, and it's just a good industry that people is always going to be a need for that. Just learning those type of skill set in construction, HVAC, plumbing. I think all that would be great. You know, it's something someone kids could hold on to, and it'll take them. You get a job anywhere.
Right. Can you see something like that being developed in San Luis Obispo through Authors Inside?
I definitely, yeah. Definitely get the funding and support. Some people will just, I mean, we could reach out to certain companies and that's already doing it. They could just provide their time. You know, just like donate their time in teaching. You know, but I could see that. I definitely could see that. I could see that. We come at them correctly. I definitely could see that because it's all for the next generation, the youth. You know, so I think that could be done.
Exactly. A good solid, you know, preventive measure that we can put in place, a safeguard, so to speak. What do you think, George? What about up there where you at?
Yeah, I think so. They have this program in the juvenile hall here, right? And I don't want to digress, but they have this program where they come inside the institution and they do some construction, the things that they can do in there. You know, the people, I don't know the name of it, but you know, when you're driving down the street and they have them balance beams and all that stuff out to kind of level things out and measure whatever the case may be. And they teach them that in there. And that's one of the biggest programs that the kids are excited to go to. Right? Like this engagement, this not this didactic setting when someone's sitting talking to me about cognitive behavioral therapy all day, anger management and stuff like that, but something that they can get their hands on, you know, they can work with. So I love the idea of providing such services. We all know, all four of us know the importance of a marketable skill, the importance of being able to work, man. The young man I was talking to yesterday in the halls, man, he's like, George, he's about to be released in March. He's serving a life sentence in juvenile hall. You know, things have changed. So he left from YA and he's in juvenile hall with his life sentence. He's going home March 1st after like 5 years, right? But anyway, and his thing was, man, I need to stay busy, big bro. When I go home, is there anything there that I can stay busy? I just need to be busy. I don't need no time. Boredom is one of my biggest triggers. Dot, 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 dot. Right. So I think it's powerful. A lot of the young people that especially in this community here in Oakland and things like that. Yeah, a lot of them, man, they struggle educationally, right? They struggle in that regard, you know. So they're looking for this hands-on approach. They've put in their minds, no matter what we're trying to motivate them to think further than or past their situation, they put in their mind that they're warehouse workers, construction workers, they're the HVAC people. They can't move past that, right?
Right.
So I think it's a wonderful place to start, big brother.
Right.
Uh, it does,
Exactly.
and I think that that's a
Yeah.
wonderful idea.
Right. Especially, you know, if it's being used, like I said, as a safeguard,
As
right?
it's,
Because the thing is, we're trying to keep these individuals from falling off the ledge, right? And that's why I mentioned that one particular um population. You know, the youngster that ain't never been in trouble no before. Matter of fact, he may have been pulling all A's, right? But all of a sudden, his dynamic is destroyed, right? His father is on drugs or his father is in prison, and then he has the other sibling that's ran off and in all kind of trouble, right? That increases his chances of having a life full of failures, right? Statistics show, right? So it's not like we're just creating something, making something up, but we're just trying to create an avenue so we can be used as a vehicle, excuse me, in collaboration with Brian and other individuals like him, right? To fill in that little piece, right? To fill in that little piece. Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to double back on that. That's my apologies, man. I knew I missed something. I just didn't know what it was,
All right.
right? That young person that has not experienced incarceration, delinquency, right?
Right.
I think that's powerful to interrupt
Right.
that, right?
Yeah.
And it does take that caring adult that I'm always speaking towards, right? That has to be consistent, right? Throughout that process of developing them to be construction workers or whatever the case may be, right?
Right.
And I knew I missed something, but I just wasn't sure
Yeah.
what it was, brother.
Yeah.
But wonderful idea for that young person because there's so many right here in these communities, brother, that just don't want to be a part of that
Right.
stuff, you know, but
Yeah.
have no insight into something else until
Right.
someone comes along like a caring adult like ourselves with lived experience and pull that person along. Let's go do this construction thing.
Right.
It's
Right.
one
Right.
of the biggest things that I see the young people are excited about is, and this is in the community, those that are not incarcerated, right?
Right.
Is an ability to make money while they're being trained
Right.
to do
Right.
the job. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's an
Yeah.
incentive, and maybe they call it contingency
Right.
management or whatever the case may be, but
Right.
paying young people as they go through that process to
Right.
become wonderful stuff, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Let's just
Yeah.
have
You
some
wanted to
discussion.
add something else,
Yeah.
Brian? You're on mute.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off what George said because that is like ideally, how I created like the idea is like a lot of these kids, they don't have avenues. They don't have, any opportunities, like opportunities to be able to, reach out and have somebody to like believe in like, them wanting to learn a new trade or wanting them to, but put their best foot forward, for the
Right.
most part. And it's being able to have that opportunity available to you that is going
Right.
to pique your interest and give you the capacity to be able to come alongside somebody and be trained by somebody. There's got to be a willingness there,
Right. Right.
and the more the willingness in the community, the more the opportunity for the youth to be able to prevail and learn these opportunities within their
Yeah.
community, because it gives them a sense of pride. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it gives them a sense of worth.
Mm.
Like I did Edge Diversion Mentorship Program in Kern Valley Level 4 State Prison, and I trained for that. I think it was like a 12-month training curricular before they even brought, the youth in from the streets and the probation departments out of Delano and Bakersfield, California. And when they came in in bubblegum pink jumpsuits with their name, etched on the back of them with, masking tape. And the first thing they did do was hit that mini 14, and those little youngsters hit the ground faster than firecrackers. You know what I mean? And they were scared out of their wits. They're like, "Oh my God, what's going on here?" And we're like, "Hey, this is the real shit. Yeah, this is real shit, dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
they're looking at us with big old eyes and this, that. And when we'd ask them, like, hey, why do you do what you do? He was an Asian kid, and we go, why do you do what you do? And he goes, well, my mom is a single mom. She works 2 jobs. She's never home. My little sister, is about 4 years younger than me. I think put her at like 10 or whatever. And he said, we get picked on a lot because we don't have a father. And my mom, she lives a single life, so she has, random people in and out of our house. And he goes, and being and going to school and the kids being, vicious the way that they are and mocking us and making fun of us, I started retaliating, and then my retaliation went from anger to fighting, and from fighting to bringing a knife to school. And I got busted with a knife, and I'm here. And I said, well, what would you rather do? And he goes, well, I'd rather be in a position where I can learn something and, raise my family so my mom doesn't have to feel like she needs to bring weirdos home.
Right.
And I said, really, and then, outside of the program, when I was walking the yard, there was this one outsider, in a Chicano gang. And he used to run up on me and stuff and go, hey, Brian, what do you do? Your sales said that you're like a construction guy out there. And I said, yeah, I've been doing it my whole life. And he goes, well, how'd you get into that? And I said, oh, my family. And he's like, man, I wish my family did something like that. And I said, well, what'd your family do? He goes, we gangbang. I said, really? And he goes, yeah. I said, every single one? He goes, every single one, even my grandma. I was like, damn, that's hardcore.
Right.
Like, all
Right. Right.
He goes, so I never had opportunity to do any of that. And he goes, I said, well, if you did, would you be willing to do it? He goes, man, if I can turn back time and I can come up alongside somebody like you and you could even give me the time of day to talk to me about it, I would be in. I probably wouldn't be here. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And that's very true, man. That's very true.
That's a great.
Going back, I wanted to ask something when you was talking about the youngster though, right? That was 14. And that story just illustrated that what we're lacking as a society in 2 parts, right? Not allowing children to be able to deal with those episodes of being bullied and seeing that they have self-worth, and us not stepping in to show kids that bullying is not an acceptable behavior. You know what I mean? And that's something that organizations like us have the ability to step in and do, right? Because they need that aspect of, hey, here's the encouragement to be a good citizen, right? Because typically that's not a conversation at home. And it's not one at school. School is about being smart, right? That's why you get graded every week. You get a paperback. You get an A through F. It's about being smart. Are you smart? Are you smart? So now here we come along with this extracurricular activities and events and interventions to be like, man, this is the path, right? Stay motivated, because naturally we want to do good, right? But you catch them at a younger age and keep them motivated to stay on that right path. So when they are finished with school, whether they go to college, a tech school, military, whatever the case may be, or just into the workforce, they have the mindset that I have an obligation to my community to be an honest and outstanding citizen. Make sense? And that's what our jobs is. That's what our work is.
Definitely. You know what I love about this, bro? One thing that I'm recognizing and learning, man, is that remember that old saying, I said it earlier, but it takes a village, right? Remember that our parents, grandparents, people used to say that all the time. But now, man, that I'm actively out here and partnering with other community-based organizations and things like that, bro, it really does take this like holistic approach to help with these young people, the young man who may not be interested in construction, you know what I'm saying? But he's into coding, and we have another person over here in the CBO that's into coding and so forth and so on. So I just wanted to highlight, man, the importance of other people who are listening, other people who are watching this, how we must mesh, man, in order to meet these needs of these young people, man. That's it, man. It's a trip, bro. Just watching it come to fruition.
Good stuff. Emmanuel, what was you gonna add?
Hey man, I agree. I agree with George. Piggyback on him, and it does take all of us, man, be on the front lines, with live experience to bring our next generation along. So it's exciting, and I'm ready to go. I'm like, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go out there. Let's go out there and talk to who we need to talk to.
Yeah.
Whatever skills we have, and we could share it to the next youngster. Let's do it, man. Let's set up what's that a clinic
Right.
in a sense.
Right.
Let's do clinics, and let's just do it. Let's pass out cards, and let's make it happen.
Yeah. And we definitely open to our viewers to, hey, passing this message along, sharing with other people what we're trying to do, and also meet up together, outside of camera on, and have free clinics on Zoom and
Yeah,
things like that to further explain to people and answer their questions and hear what their needs are in their community, right?
yeah,
Because right
definitely.
now, we're about to cover all states. I mean, all counties. Excuse me, all sections California, right? LA County,
Yeah,
Riverside County, Alameda County, San Luis Obispo County. So it's about time, man, for not just us, but for our viewers and for the community, man, to put the word out there and be like, hey, these people are here to help,
Yeah.
right? Flag us
yeah,
down. The same way you flag down the police officer, the fire truck, the paramedic, that's the response we need from the community.
yeah,
Arthur's inside, we need you.
Yeah.
definitely. So,
Before we close out, man, I just really want to give you Brian, like, bro, everything you said, everything you shared, you've demonstrated under harsher circumstances than being in the community. We were all together, bro. You stood up for what you believed in. So I know, man, the impact that you're making with the young people you're encountering and everybody around you, man. So I just want to say, man, hats off to you, bro.
yeah,
And thank you for everything that you've done for us. I think we equally, each one of us is responsible or contributed to one another's freedom, right? In some way or another, the success of other people's freedom and getting them back to their families. So I want to say that to you, Brian, when nobody else would, you did, you know? So thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
man. And
sir.
I'm honored to
Thank you,
be
Brian.
in space with you, big bro.
Yeah,
Hey, bro.
yeah,
I'm honored to know you guys, dude, and have spent the time that I spent with you guys incarcerated, and even on these segments, and I'm super proud of all three of you. You come a really long way. I mean, we used to bump elbows in the chow hall where we could barely even fit in that chow hall, and now we're out here, changing lives and making sacrifices, dude. So I think it's a unified effort. I think, round table of applause for all three of us and moving forward, continuing to like overcome barriers and,
Yeah.
obstacles and, putting the best foot
hmm
forward for our lives and our families and communities. And, I appreciate, everything that you guys tell me, man. I take it to heart and I take it with full respect. I appreciate you, George, like, even extending that, that feeling of respect towards me, because it just makes me feel vindicated in my accomplishment of doing what I said I was going to do,
So
you know. So I
Nice.
appreciate that, brother. Thank you.
that's what's up. You're welcome, bro.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up, man. Authors
Yes.
inside,
Yes, sir.
and from
Yeah, man.
inside to
Thank you.
outside, man, and
And,
boom.
and Brian, don't hesitate, man. You welcome. You got an open door policy with us, man. So just all you gotta do is just schedule it up. Any new developments, just let us know.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I definitely keep in the loop with you guys, and like when I was, able to get that FaceTime, which was a blessing with Otis the other day, and we got to chop it up and hang out a bit and everything. We were kind of just hashing this out, and then kind of like putting some of the pieces together as an idea.
Yeah,
It's like there's so much more to it. So it's
yeah,
definitely
definitely.
going to be like a unified thing between us and orchestrating in the future.
Yes,
But it's going to
yes,
be
sir.
something that's going to be really good because it'd be properly planned. We got some real good planners right here. You know what I mean? You
Okay.
guys put
Yeah.
together a really, really good curricular. It helped and changed a lot of people. Ain't nothing else different about this, bro. It's just an
Yes, sir.
extension of what you did.
Good word. What
Yes,
we
sir.
did, bro.
Yeah,
What we
that's
did.
right. All
That
right.
none of that stuff was possible without each one of us, man. And
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
men aren't here. But yeah,
Yes,
had to
sir.
talk about that, Emmanuel.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's
last viewers, we need your help.
yeah.
Every time I end one of these, I'm going to say the same thing. We need your help in order to help others, right? Let's mesh together. Contact authors inside. We're open for speaking. We're open for service. We're open. All right. We appreciate you and we love you, man. We don't even know you and we love you.
That's what's up.
Right.
That's what's up.
Good stuff.
All right.
Go ahead,
All
man.
right.
You'll do what you
All right.
do.
All right. Thank you, viewers. See you again next week. Camera off.